away. I want to sit away alone all by myself. I'm not just gonna stay here and wait. I wanna just decide what is to be my fate. Alone all by myself, I'm not just gonna stay here and wait.
Good afternoon, everybody. I can't sustain it because somebody in Florida gave me her ickies and my voice is all messed up. So, good morning, Verbo, or good afternoon, Verbo. How are you?
Seemingly better than you because I don't have the cooties.
You didn't get the cooties? Rose didn't
did
give you the
not.
cooties? Okay.
Well, I think I might have to start making out with people if I want cooties or something, but, you know, I'm still masked up in public, so that's where we're at.
I probably should have masked up when I was asleep last night, and she somehow gave me the cooties. So, I don't know. Because she's sick, and all of a sudden I have the exact same things. My voice gave out halfway through one of the news articles this afternoon. So, yeah.
Parsons does have a point that he is probably allergic to Rose. That is
I am
a
not allergic.
Possibility.
I haven't been near her yet to see if there's any cooties in person, but still, we're going to have a wonderful night here as we only have 5 people watching, so what the hell? Yeah.
Somebody else is live.
The other person is still live. Yeah.
Yeah. Expected.
We do have, and hello, Facebook Karen. How are you tonight?
Hello, Facebook Karen.
Well, tonight at 8 o'clock Eastern, 7 o'clock where it counts, 6 o'clock Mountain Time, and 5 o'clock Pacific, we have Spooky Sunday, where we'll be discussing the stupidity surrounding the Conjuring house tonight.
Yeah, that's it's a little bit weird. I've been watching a little bit of it, and I have some opinions.
Good. We'll watch that video and eat up an hour tonight. So I think we can get an hour out of that video alone, let alone Jason Hawes acting weird in that video. It's sort of like a hostage video or a video where you don't want to set off an ex-girlfriend. And you're just like, yeah, I'm not trying to set her off. Please don't set her off. I did a little research.
It's a bunch of weird. It's a bunch of real weird stuff going on that nobody's talking about what the actual motivations are. You know what I mean? Like I watched some stuff and it's you're right. There's a weird vibe going on and there's an elephant in the room that nobody will talk about. And I don't know what that thing is yet.
And there's the whole fact that she rents that house out Sunday through Thursday, $1,200 a night. And that's up to 6 people to ghost hunt. And then on weekends, you get up to 8 people to ghost hunt from Friday, Saturday, 8 people to ghost hunt, and it's like $1,500. So she's making money. Yeah.
Hand over fist money, too. Yeah.
Yeah. So, and then she's letting people camp on the property so you can sleep there if you really want to. I mean, it's all just a bunch of weirdness. Don't worry, Rose will be watching it on the air. But since we're up against...
I'll need Rose's expertise in horror movies as well, since I don't watch a lot of them, and I understand that she is a fan of horror, so... That would be good input.
Well, now you get to pick 1, 2, or 3.
Ooh, let's go with 3. I'm feeling odds today.
Okay, because I forgot what order I loaded these in. So I know the 1, but the other 3 have the same. Didn't have icons in them, so we'll go with number
Very
3.
organized. Very organized.
Wallace threatens all Super Chat format. Sex tourist and conservative Floyd Wallace threatened his fans with his plan to turn off his ability to see his side chats by going into Super Chat only mode Saturday afternoon, where he would only be notified of comments when his viewers paid for his attention. Wallace was in the middle of another fundraiser for his replacement passport, with just $267 left out of the $272 goal. So, okay, the 272 minus 267, somebody gave him $5 between yesterday and today, Friday and yesterday afternoon. He made 5 whole bucks for that. Yeah.
$5. All right. Well, it's better than no bucks. It's not $275, but it's better than nothing, I guess.
Yeah. When he began to announce future plans for his foreign-only channel, including his strange idea to shut out trolls by making all comments pay to play. While he simply wouldn't disable chat, he said he was working on turning off notifications of what was said in chat to monetize interaction with himself and his fans or his trolls in order to only see comments that came with a donation. Wallace has previously put in place a policy where he would only answer questions that came in super chats. That policy offered no reduction in trolls to his channel, as the trolls pay him the most minimal of super chats, then ask him even more outrageous questions that he says he must answer, as it's his policy to answer all super chatted questions. More often than not, the super chats he currently receives contain highly racist or highly offensive content that Wallace reads anyway, as he's been paid to do so. In other news, Wallace was alarmed by Friday's plane crash in Brazil, which resulted in the death of 61 people. Wallace said that he was thinking about buying a parachute to use if he was in a plane crash and advocated for all airlines to install parachutes on every seat. He dropped the idea after one of his viewers explained that planes fly so high that more often than not, parachutes would not work. He then responded negatively to a super chat that asked him if he would help other passengers off of a plane that had crashed had he been sitting next to an emergency exit. Wallace stated that he was no hero and he would immediately exit the plane, despite being young and virile, as he would never sacrifice his life for someone else. Turning his attention to his plan to leave for Colombia on August 25th, despite not having a working passport or plane tickets, and ignoring his trial this week, which may put him in jail in Oklahoma, he again explained that he was going to Colombia as sex in America was too much work and that women had all the power. He again explained that more often than not, he could spend hundreds of dollars on a woman and not get sex from a date in America, while in Colombia or another third world countries, he could get sex up to 3 times a day without effort, along with a home-cooked meal. The YouTuber answered criticism from his chat about his viewers only wanting to see Wallace's attempts at sexual conquests while overseas. Wallace corrected the person by stating that his viewers were turning in for his demonstrations of the fine art, culture, and experience of living overseas. He then announced that if he raises the money for a passport, he would be employing someone to work as a camera person and someone else to dance with when he went out to clubs to counter his fears of going out and experiencing the fine arts, culture, and social centers outside of the United States. Finally, Wallace answered another super chat inquiry about his dispute earlier in the year with a hospital from the Dominican Republic that Wallace claimed double-billed him. He said that PayPal turned down his claim against the hospital and refused to refund his money. Wallace's ongoing quest for the $267 he needs for a new passport is expected to continue later today. I was honestly surprised that he did not try to monetize helping people out of the plane.
Yeah. I don't think you're allowed to bring parachutes on a plane. I think that that gets you extra TSA screening, maybe on a list that you're afraid that they're afraid that you might, I don't want to say the word on YouTube, but it starts with hi and it has a
Yeah,
man's name in
yeah.
it. You know what I mean?
Plus, I
That's not a
mean,
good look.
if the plane was going down, what were you gonna do? Just pop the door open and jump out?
I
Is
mean,
that the whole idea?
I think that paratroopers train for these things. It's a very highly specialized set of skills. I don't think the average person could just strap on a parachute and jump out of a plane that's hurtling towards the earth and be successful with that. Like, I don't think that's a thing.
Well, it's Floyd Wallace. He can do anything for the right money. So if someone gave
And
him $100,
yeah,
he'd pop that door open and jump out.
Jesus. Floyd, if you're specifically watching this, I have an idea for you. Since you want to monetize all of your chat, there is a specific system used for that where the user can chat directly to you. It's called TTS, text to speech. They pay and a nice little robot voice says it over a speaker. If you would like to see
Ooh.
someone in action with that, Clash with Bow does that very frequently, and your viewers and others that like to watch you can speak directly to you for a fee.
Yeah, but I have a feeling that his viewers would just do racist things with that text to speech. Because that's what they
Jim,
do
you're not supposed
anyway
to
with
say that part.
Superchats.
Right?
That's...
Well, I mean, it's it gives the whole spectrum of those who like to view the opportunity to speak directly to it.
Oh, Lord. Oh, Lord. Ah, yeah. Let's hit number 2 and see what this one is. Jeremy Dewitte plea deal denied by judge. YouTubers So You Dated a Police Impersonator and Jeremy Dewitte News by PoliceTube's uncle differed on the fate of charges against former YouTuber and police enthusiast Jeremy Dewitte as a plea deal in one of Dewitte's many pending charges was thrown out this week. The judge overseeing one of the many Dewitte charges rejected a plea deal that would have seen Dewitte agree to accept time served and 100 hours of community service, plus fines and fees, in exchange for pleading out in a case where Dewitte is alleged to have staged a traffic accident and committed insurance fraud. So You Dated a Police Impersonator's take on the limited plea deal, when much harsher punishment would be called for with the charges Dewitte faced, was that something changed in the evidence. He said that whatever smoking gun the prosecutor had access to was no longer in play, and the prosecutor was getting something when he had no real case to move forward with. Backing this, the host said that he consulted a court clerk who made similar comments that the low level of the plea deal did not fit the crime as charged, and that something had changed with the prosecution to bring about such a pro-Dewitte plea deal. PoliceTube's uncle disagreed that the case was falling apart and was waiting to see what happened, as the judge has given both sides in the case until September 17, 2024 to come up with a harsher plea deal before determining whether to accept it. Dewitte has been accused of faking traffic accidents and inflating the severity of damage to his cars involved in the incidents. He is currently accepting a plea on one count of failing to register a change in vehicle ownership as a offender rather than the multiple counts of staging a motor vehicle accident. Despite the possible outcome of the case, Dewitte is facing multiple charges across Florida and federal tax evasion charges. Dewitte gained fame in the early 2000s with multiple charges of impersonating a police officer. He was convicted of battery of a teenage girl while pretending to be a police officer in 2004 and has been required to register as offender since then. In 2019, he gained national exposure as he was arrested for pulling drivers over while pretending to be a police officer and working as a funeral escort. Most of Dewitte's current charges are in relation to failure to register changes in ownership of vehicles as required to by his offender status. So I said it in the article, but we'll just say it again. He was offered, now this was like This would take care of like 9 counts against him of insurance fraud and failing to register the car. He was offered time served and 100 hours of community service, and he had to pay court fines.
Right.
And the
Which is a
judge
pretty
was
sweet
like,
deal.
no. Yeah,
Yeah.
that is the sweetest deal possible he could get. And the judge was like, no, no, we're going to go to trial on this if you don't come up with something better. So it looks like the chain of evidence with the body cam is what's being rumored. That's what is messed up. They do not have a chain of evidence, so they can't show that the body cam was not tampered with.
That's interesting because that's a pretty big chunk of the evidence. Would that be a Brady violation if they introduced evidence like that was detrimental to the defendant but didn't have a good chain of custody for?
It would really depend on, well, they could introduce it, but they try to weigh the value of the evidence against the on the other hand, the negativity of introducing the evidence, as they don't have a chain of
factor.
Yeah,
the chain of custody is a real big deal for evidence. I mean, we've seen that in a few cases lately, you know. So
and
it's interesting.
What the hell is in the water in Florida? Because this would be the second or third case that he's going to get off on if it goes to trial and they do not have this evidence. He's going to get away with this crap. So who knows what's going on right now?
They structured his probation in a way that he was unable to actually follow it based on his personality traits and proclivities, right? Like it was really, really strict. From what I understand too, like Florida's pretty, like they bring the hammer down in Florida.
Right.
So I would say even if he starts getting off on some of these cases, he's still not going to be able to function properly with the cases that did stick, that he does have long-term community care or whatever that's called, where he has to go see the parole officer in Florida. So I don't know. I wouldn't be overly concerned about a couple cases he gets off on because he's still going to have to pay the price for the other ones, and he can't stay in line. You just can't do it.
Well, and in this case, he was allegedly staging traffic accidents and then lying about what actually happened to the cars to the insurance company. So the insurance company would be paying out, at a higher rate. Olive, I'm going to throw you across the room if you do that again. Please don't do that.
Now,
Rose,
cat tossing is not an Olympic sport. We should not be practicing that.
Where she stabbed me, I'm surprised I'm not screaming. So yes. Yeah. Anyway, Jeremy Dewitte still has the federal charges he's facing of tax evasion, which is probably what's going to doom him ultimately. Because,
federal paper case? Oh, you're fucked.
He's screwed unless they find a way to screw that one up too. Let's go. No, you can't climb on me either, Helen. What is it with this? Let's go to this one, the middle one. Journalist Craig Hendry stages Confrontation. Independent journalist Craig Hendry acted more like a First Amendment auditor in his most recent video as he reported from the Stark County, Indiana courthouse after being rejected by security for filming in the building. Hendry's report began with a voiceover explaining that he was at the Stark County courthouse to investigate corruption and that his video was a curated section from a larger video he'll release at a later date. The reporter entered the building building and immediately refused to identify his needs with the security guards at the security checkpoint at the front of the building. He then began to scream at the security guards when they stated that he was not going to be allowed in to film in the building. Hendry screamed that it was his First Amendment right to film, and that a policy by the building not to allow filming could not prohibit him from recording in the entire building, just the area adjacent to an actual room deemed as a courtroom, which the entryway was not. The journalist then played a cat-and-mouse game with one of the two senior citizen security guards, moving around him and pretending to run up a flight of stairs while the security guard got into the elevator, then returning down the stairs to find the county prosecutor's office. Catching up with the wascally Hendry, the security guard informed the reporter that the prosecutor's office had requested that he leave the building. Hendry told the security guard to either arrest him or leave him alone, as he was not leaving the building. Eventually, the Stark County Sheriff's Department dispatched a deputy who left shortly after the security guard apparently kicked Hendry's camera staff while walking past him. Citizen journalist Hendry and the citizen security guard exchanged insults, calling each other communists at one point, and the hilarity continued as the guard got Hendry to leave the building, only to see Hendry quietly follow the security guard back into the building to continue his argument with the guard. Hendry has requested all of his fans brigade the Stark County, Indiana Sheriff's Office to protest his treatment at the hands of the security officers, despite neither man claiming to work for that office. It is unclear whether journalist Hendry will now be suing over the apparently staged incident. So yeah, he sees the sign that says no recording and decides to play around.
Yeah, it's just some chode behavior. Are you kidding that they actually chased each other around? Like it was
literally a cartoon
like
at one point where the old guy saw him running to the stairs, so the old guy ran to the elevator, got in, and Hendry pretended to run up the stairs. He made the noises with his feet. Then he turned around and went down the stairs. So he went to the offices on that same floor while the old guy was going up. It was like a bad Scooby-Doo episode. It was really, really stupid.
I mean, it's embarrassing behavior. So like that, like you said, it's just baiting. It's just embarrassing baiting behavior. And if you have to stoop so low as to go chase an old man security guard around and act like an idiot, I think you need to reevaluate some of your life decisions.
It literally, I mean, if they had doors that somehow connected or crisscrossed, it would be, one would run through one while the other would run through another, like on Scooby-Doo. They would have done that.
Right. Some Escher stairs in there somewhere.
Yeah. Because Henry was playing a game while the security guard was dumb enough just to fall for it.
Yeah, that's embarrassing.
Yes. Let's go to our last one for the night. On me, should Chille DeCastro offer refunds? It was another day of goose eggs for all of the major funds we cover this week, with the continued failure of Jose Chille DeCastro stealing focus from most of our major funds and overshadowing our own $10 win for the day. DeCastro hasn't live-streamed since Thursday and has done little to nothing to promote his fundraising campaigns, even though he is in dire need of money. While he may have had a partial refund this week with the dismissal of his obstruction case in Las Vegas, it's unclear how much money he got back from his retainer of an expensive lawyer in the case, or if he'll consider refunding it to those who supported him in his crowdfunding effort. That particular GoFundMe, his legal defense fund crime scene tape illegal arrest campaign, raised $2,465 out of a $30,000 goal. It had 38 total donations and hadn't seen a donation in 8 days. Theoretically, since DeCastro no longer needs the money raised for the campaign, the money should be refunded, or the campaign should be ended. DeCastro might argue that the lawyer in the case filed basic paperwork with a cost exceeding the donated $2,465. If DeCastro is getting a significant refund from the $15,000 he said he paid, there's no excuse not to refund his donors. There may have also been questions about how much he owes the attorney for Garrett Press with Ranker Van Net's defense, and if he's even going to pay the attorney. On the day of Van Net's loss, DeCastro seemed skeptical about paying the attorney and indicated that he hadn't touched the money from Ranker's GoFundMe account, claiming that all payments came out of his own pocket. The fund hasn't had a donation in 9 days and only raised $4,194 out of the $45,000 goal. Again, if DeCastro isn't using the money, why is he stockpiling it? Why not return the money to his donors if he isn't using it? DeCastro has also apparently indicated that suing judges will not lead anywhere in recent live streams. While he claimed he would win a lawsuit against the jail he was housed in and the police officer who arrested him in the conviction that was ultimately overturned, he would not win against the judge who convicted him. Then why is he still raising $100,000 to sue? His Justice for All legal battle for accountability may have only raised $4,558 out of that $100,000 goal, but that money was supposedly intended to go to suing Justice of the Peace Ann Zimmerman. If that plan is no longer in play, then why still raise the money for it? I'm a realist and realize there's no chance in hell that DeCastro will ever return the money to his fans or shut down the fundraisers. That said, with 3 of his 5 fundraisers now with no actual purpose, you'd think he'd worry more about the 2 that still aren't getting hits and would spend his time promoting actual needs. Oh, that's right. He never promotes any of those funds anyway. So in the immortal words of Miss Emily Latella, never mind. If you'd like to join our tiny number of followers and even tinier number of donors who force us to write this column every morning for the past God knows when, we do have a GoFundMe of our own. All proceeds go to keep the lights on, eating, and writing new stories to feature here and on reallycoolsite.org. Now, we can debate it all we want. Both of those GoFundMes, there's no need for them. One's dismissed and the other, it's not going to Press with Ranker,
Right.
So,
right.
Why does he need the money?
I think that you're applying a normal ethical standard to someone who operates outside ethical standards. So,
right.
I think we all know the reason.
I did check on his 501c3, and there's no sign of it. And just to test that the system works, I looked up Regan Benson's, and strangely, you can look and you can see her tax return for the organization from 1 year. Then she didn't file the next year, and then you get 2 more years of her sending a card in indicating she made under $50,000 for the fund for the year. So she didn't have to do a full tax return. But she still hasn't done this year's.
Interesting. She might have filed for an extension, and then I think she has until October, I think.
Or she could just be skipping it again, because she did skip 1 year. They said if you skip
Possibly.
2 years in a row, you're immediately kicked out of the program.
Really? Yeah,
Yes.
I don't think he's ever going to get a 501c3 because I don't think he can withstand the scrutiny just to get it established. And then he definitely will not maintain the paperwork required because he hasn't maintained the paperwork required for any of his California businesses. I mean, those are all administratively shut down. Yeah, but not just, he didn't abandon them or shut them down. The state has shut him down each time for various paperwork.
Well, technically, his Las Vegas one is shut down as well. He didn't renew that. He didn't properly renew it. So, yeah, that was a story a while ago. Yeah, he never renewed the Vegas one, so it's expired. And, his accounting for the money for Press with Rancor was like, okay, I raised all this money over on the GoFundMe, but none of that money went to the lawyer. All your donations to me directly went to the lawyer. So it was my money I put in. So we have all this money left on the account, and I'm like, how the hell would any accountant keep track of this?
It's impossible. That's the whole point.
When he's got 5 GoFundMes and like 6 cash accounts, and then he gets direct money from, the sugar daddies, who's gonna follow this enough for him to have a 501c3?
Nobody. And don't you need officers as well for a nonprofit? I mean, who would you appoint as officers?
Chevy and Gloria and Coke Dog and the few that are left.
I don't want to sound insensitive, but doesn't Gloria have some sort of medical issue going on that is significant?
Yeah, but she could be named. I mean, she's in every one of his chats. She's always there. Yeah. I've heard a few different explanations of what's going on with Gloria, so none of it's verified, but I question whether or not that would be an appropriate appointment for her. I don't know. Plus, she was the last one to actually donate to Press with Rancor. I think she put in $100 of her own money.
She is a generous person. She seems to be a very nice lady and generous and enthusiastic.
Yeah. And I'm probably wrong at that figure. I'll check it tonight. I'll make a correction tomorrow if we need to. But I remember that the night she did that, she was the only one. Chille wasn't even pushing for it. She was putting that URL out. She was telling them to, go and donate money because Chille's in the hole over like 28 grand.
Yeah, she's
remaining for
supportive.
This guy.
Very supportive, very enthusiastic. She seems like a really nice lady, and it's disappointing that Chille has kind of snowed her over. You know what I mean?
Right. Taking advantage of that, of the niceness. Yeah.
Yep, and her enthusiasm.
Well, on that note, we're going to wrap up. Thank you to everyone everyone here, as there's something else going on, another chat apparently, but hey, we're here, we're always here, and you can always watch us later. The newscast is already out. We went live, or we premiered that last hour, actually 5 o'clock hour. The individual stories will be going out at 9 o'clock Eastern, and we'll be back in about 45 minutes with our Spooky Sunday, where we'll be discussing The Conjuring House. So be here if you want to. We'll be here. Any last words, Verbo?
I'm excited for Spooky Sunday. Please tune in a little bit later. Pop into the Discord later on. Let us know if that's something that you enjoyed. If you'd like us to continue with that, and if you have any specific direction you would like that to go as well. We have some ideas on our end, but it'd be nice to see what you're interested in as well.
And on that note, have a good night, everybody. See you in about 45 minutes, or 55 minutes, sorry.
her.